So you don't want to just take it off. Do y'all, like right there, you would just want to take this off. It takes about 2 minutes to do it. So to turn this on, and does anybody want to play with it while we go? Here, just y'all follow what I do. Okay?
Here, I shake. Or here, we can play with this one if y'all want this one.
You take that.
All right. So we're gonna turn it on. You see where it says power over here? Then you got to hold it just down for like 1 or 2 seconds, and it'll just turn on. Everybody got it on?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. So that's your first screen. So you see where it says use battery?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you're not using the electric wire, just click silence, and you won't get that beep.
Okay.
The pump comes. The pump comes with a 2-minute no operation beep, which that means if you turn it on, you walk away and forget to start it. Every 2 minutes you're going to get a beep. You can change that if you want, but it's pretty good for 2 hours. So you see the first screen. You got your rate, your volume, and I'll talk to you about the switch mode, and then load. You're not going to worry about it. So just click on the rate button right now. All right. So what do you see? You're seeing pluses on one side and minuses. So it goes down as low as 0.1, and it'll go as high as 1,000. Do y'all use 60 drop sets over here?
15.
We have
15's okay, that's fine. I mean, because when we bring this in with a using a 60, that we just get rid of them because you don't need them anymore because it goes to fall. All right. So just set a rate. Excuse me. Just set it at 30.
Oh, that didn't work.
Here we go.
I thought it would get. I thought it would.
Yeah.
Are we all at 30 now?
Yes.
All right. So now you want to enter it. You see the enter button on your right hand bottom? Just enter it. It'll turn yellow, showing that it's loaded in there. Volume is the same exact way. Click your volume button.
BTI.
BTI, yeah. All right. So you do the same thing. So you set. Let's say you're doing 10 mLs. Click 10 mLs in there, and enter it. All right. So you've got your rate and you got your volume already set, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put our line in here. So all you do is click this little silver button and open it up. It'll come right open. Now do you see the orange button, which will be on your left-hand side, I believe? This is an anti-flow device. What this does is it'll stop the, when you disconnect from a patient after you've turned it off, and you disconnect, you get that fluid. So what you want to do here is take this orange button and push it up before you put your IV tube in it. All right, everybody's good? So then we're going to take our tube, and you can see it'll show you what side the bag is supposed to be on. It's also got a little picture of a pet right there, and we actually had to have that because we don't market that on the human side. So now we're just going to put our tubing right in there, just like you would do your current thing. You just make sure it's in there. All right. So this is up. Okay. So what happens is when you turn it off, that piece will come right down on the tubing. All right, and that'll keep you from getting that extra flow. If you forget to do it, it's not a big deal at all. All right. If you're in a hurry and you just forget to pop that up top, it's not going to affect anything. It'll be just like what you're using now. You'll get the flow at the end, but you won't hurt the pump in any way. So just get in the habit of just pushing it up real fast. All right. So at this point, you've got the patient connected. So all you do is press start and go. All right. That's as simple as it gets to run it. Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all ever use for your rates and stuff like that? Do y'all do anything like time or no? It just pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, like if we were going to run just a small injection like of an antibiotic through one of these pumps,
right.
You just may set your time for 30 minutes.
Okay.
Your volume and then your
All
time.
right. So you see where the switch button is? I want you to click on the switch button. So what does it say? Okay, now click it again.
That's right.
So now you can do drip per minute,
Mike's for kids.
and then click one more time. So that's all your different rates that you're using.
Sweet.
Okay? So, but I mean, mostly just about every 95% of the infusions are just either the rate and the volume, but you have that capabilities. All right?
That's very cool.
Okay, so that's how you run the pump. All right, so this is all, I want to show y'all some things in this pump that I've already set, but I want, you know when the pump like you're using right now, the Heska pump, do y'all get a lot of air in line alarms? All right, so I'm just going to show you this, the easy one. So this is what I've already set. You don't have to worry about it, but this is just some of the stuff that this pump comes with. So I'm just, to go to settings, so y'all all ready? Hold that orange button down, just hold it down, and then click the top rate button. All right, so now you're in settings. Does it say KBO and bolus? And you see where it says air in line?
Mm-hmm.
So if you click the air in line, and then you click the filter button, you see how it's set on level 3? And if you look at that screen, these are all different size bubbles that you come. So what we did is we bypassed those little micro bubbles that doesn't hurt anybody and that you can't find them when you're trying to clean up. So we're going to bypass all of that, okay? All right, so let's, now I want you to click back, the back button, and click it one more time. All right, I see where it says next? Okay, so I want you to click the next button, and then the next button one more time, where it says Wi-Fi, and the next button where you see pause. Got that? Click the pause button. See where it says 30? What that is if you're giving an infusion and you need to take the patient out for a walk, instead of holding it down, you click that, you have 30 minutes, okay?
Wait a second, what if we accidentally clicked the Wi-Fi button instead of the next button? How do we go back to screen?
They just got all your information. No.
Satellites are syncing up all over Europe.
Just always just enter it. Snail, you want to try it again? See if you can get
No. You do it. Next.
So.
Next. Cool.
Alright, see, so where the pause button is, it'll say pause. When you click the pause, it'll turn and say start. So when you take the patient back, you connect them back up, you click the same button, which will say start, and then you resume. 30 minutes for that. Alright, you have any questions about that? Alright. As you see, there was a Wi-Fi button. And that sometimes that gets some conversation. We had the ability through the manufacturing plant that they had the ability to put Wi-Fi in it. And so we took it for some things that we're working on for the future. And so one of the things this pump has, you see this little side, this piece right here? We can update this pump. If we came out with something new, we can update. Now we're working with the plant to try to be able to do it, update our pumps kind of like you do your smartphone. Right now, when we first started with it, we didn't have the pause button. We had so many people that were unhappy with the way the Heska pumps work and all, so we were able to add it, but we only had like 700 pieces out in the field, so we went in and updated them all. So we're hoping to have that, and we don't have a timetable. And there's two things they wanted to do is to be able to update the pump, and also to have your own app. Whereas if, let's say, you're running an infusion, you want to cross the street and have some lunch, and then you have an occlusion where you get notified. But that's what the future is. We don't even know when we're going to get there. Okay. So do y'all have any questions about this pump?
I do.
Sure.
So one question is, with Heskas and previously Baxter's, they would be calibrated to a specific line, Aspira, or depending on which line you purchase.
Correct.
Are these calibrated to a specific line?
These have the ability that you calibrate it right here. I just calibrated these pumps to your tubing.
Okay.
Okay. So these are already calibrated. There's only 2 calibrations on the market: Baxter, Hospira. Hospira's 15 drop, Baxter's 10 drop. Okay.
Correct.
We there's a way you can actually physically do it, but we do it all the time, so we know what the numbers are.
Okay.
So right now you're calibrated for your tubing right now.
So we need to not ever change that tubing.
No, I'm glad you asked that question. I tell you what, let's do this. Are y'all still on settings?
No. We're in maintenance, 30 pause.
Okay,
about
first.
mode.
All right, I want you to go previous. And let's see.
Confusion.
No, that's the Wi-Fi. No off.
All right, keep going until you.
Previous.
Help, go on, help.
Previous.
All right.
Tubes.
We were
Video.
waiting on
Yeah, you see 2?
Yes.
All right, glad.
No.
All right, now I want you to.
help.
Previous.
Keep hitting previous till you see tube in the top right.
Okay.
Okay. That's it, right there. We're good.
Okay.
See where it says air and bubbles? Well, y'all prepare. So, okay, so here's, so where, you see where it says ACU, ACCU?
Yes,
Alright, that's where we calibrate it.
okay.
You're really not gonna have to calibrate it. I mean, we'll be around here enough to calibrate me and Hayden. If you just click on the ACCU, now your calibration is 5.38. So when you click on the ACU, I want you to click number 5. Alright, now you see where it says load? You see the load button there?
Yes.
I click the
Yes.
load button.
40538.
5, okay, that's your calibration.
Okay.
So if you feel like your pump is not accurate, you call me and I would say press that load button and look at that number. If it's 5% off one way or the other, then we'll recalibrate it. It's just real simple. Now you see, now I want you to go back, and this is the last thing. Go back until you see the tube, T-U-B-E. All right, you see it? Do y'all
Yes.
see tube?
Yes.
All right, click tube for me. What does it say?
Tube A.
Tube A. I calibrated tube A. All
And
right?
tube A is, for us,
It's
is.
the 10 drop, the Baxter
Baxter.
sets. Okay, so that's what's calibrated. So if somebody has a great deal on tubing, some human hospital drops off some tubing, something like that, what you do is you call me. And then we'll go over it and we'll see if it needs to be recalibrated. If it does, all I would do, where the tube is, I would click that plus button and it'll go to tube B. And then I would enter that and then I would come back and recalibrate, then you'd have 2 calibrations. You can do up to 10, but I don't know how there's 10.
So, if we,
Here and there.
Just turn it off and turn it back on.
The whole pump.
Yeah.
can you run it with a syringe attached and just a line on an extension set?
You can, but you have to run it with this tubing, and you're gonna have some. See the needle free?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if I wanna do a syringe infusion, the problem with the needle ports, you don't have the connection, because you got just that needle stuck in there, so it's not really tight.
Correct.
So if I wanted to do a syringe infusion, we have a lot of customers that do this.
Yeah.
Show it later.
No, hold on one second. We don't.
Sorry, we don't carry those. We use 2 different kinds, but only one of
We
which
don't
I have
have
an
them, right.
example of. We have the
Right.
micro bore, and then we have a macro bore, which
Right.
is usually a 7.6 mil prime.
Right. You're gonna have some of these, Mike, you're gonna have some of these for stuff like that.
Okay.
Is that right? Okay.
And you will then calibrate that, and we
This
have
is-
to select.
This is gonna be the same calibration, because we're gonna do it in a 10 drop.
I got you. Great.
Don't worry about
Streamline.
calibration. I'll make sure you guys are correct. I
Okay.
promise. So if I wanted to do a syringe infusion, so I'm gonna open it up and I'm gonna put this tubing in there. Now the thing you gotta do is, this connector has got to be on the pump side. So you're gonna click it right here, and then you're gonna just take an extension to go to the patient. All right? And then I'm gonna close it. All right? So then I'm just gonna take my syringe. And of course, I've got a bag hanging, right? And I'm just gonna click, and I'm just gonna lower lock it right here, all right? So then I can start running. All you have to do at this point is clamp it. Correct. But you see what I'm saying by connections?
It has to be locked in.
I mean, I've seen people do it with the syringe with a lot of tape, but it's leaking the whole time. So if you have to get a specific amount of drug in there, it's not working, so. And that if you go on our website, Practivet.com, and you go to products, go to pumps, and then go down to the infusion pumps. They got all kinds of videos about these kinds of
There's
things.
a video about that,
That's
exactly.
correct. Yeah. So any questions? All right. Yeah, I tell you what, I'm going to leave a card if y'all want to tape it onto each pump.
Okay.
And,
That's not a bad
That's a
idea.
great idea.
I
Do you
mean,
want to put your hours on that card?
We can do personal sale.
don't worry about it. You call me.
4 o'clock in the morning is when we're likely to have a meltdown.
Well, if I'm still standing up. But I'm just going to leave 3. I'm going to leave 4 cords because you got another
Yeah.
pump coming. And
Real
just
quick, Gary, one
Yeah.
last question too. Like, let's say Jordan turns off the pump and the dog is visiting with the owners for like 2 hours because we have a crazy client. And then she turns the pump back on. Does it keep the memory from the last?
it'll go to the last one.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
correct.
How do you clear it
Huh?
how do you clear it when you're getting ready to?
It just shows you what your last infusion was. Just start punching in your new stuff. It'll go away.
Okay.
You don't have to worry
You'll
about
have to
that.
hit a clear button, gotcha.
So, any other questions?
What about like Do you have a question, Tabitha?
Oh, I didn't hold it long enough.
So that little orange thing should be
You gotta
up.
really
Oh.
commit to turn it off.
Yes, what happens is, if you look at it, it's up right here, and so when you turn the pump off, it'll come down right
So
on
we're
the
setting
line.
the flow rate.
So when you disconnect it from the patient, you won't get all that fluid. But
100
again, if
mils
you
an hour.
forget, and I tell you, a lot of people I go and our customers, they just buy it, they don't even worry about it, they don't think about it.
Yes.
And
100
it's
mils
not
an
gonna
hour.
hurt you, you're just not gonna get the
Yeah.
benefit of
And
stopping.
And
that.
Gary mentioned when you close that door to close it like this, rather than just pushing in the middle,
it's not
cause that
that
saves
small,
the
this one
springs
right
or
here.
something,
So
right?
it's
Or the
That's
door?
correct. All the small pumps on the market have the same kind, I mean, Heska's the same way. And one of the biggest problems with Heska, when we were doing our research, is they have doors that have to be replaced or fixed. And so we were working with our engineers, and the engineer says it's because they're doing it with one hand. And I know we're all busy, but so we just, I mean, the only thing we did different is we put push on both sides. So if you get in the habit of using two hands, you'll never have a problem with that door, all right?
So, flow rate, on the screen, you have flow rate and the largest, and then you have a VTBI, and then you have the summation sign. Is that your volume infused?
That's your volume.
Okay.
I'm sorry, yeah. And a bolus is just like the Heska, but you can also, and you can go onto your settings. If you turn it on, if you turn it on and go to settings, y'all remember how to go to settings?
Wait for it.
The orange button in the red.
Yes, very good. All right, let me see it.
Stop.
Always the problem, just.
That's not a problem. See whatever you want to go to inner outer settings. You see how these it's open. You would just click that, and then you can go
Write
on
that
there.
down, 'cause I'm gonna.
So we're gonna look at
Press
this.
and hold.
We're gonna look at these.
Stop and tap.
All right, for your bolus, have y'all got your settings?
Yes,
All right, do you see the bolus?
yes.
Bolus setting? You can set that bolus at whatever you want. And so when you get ready to do a bolus, and you're out of settings, and when you push the bolus button, it'll push that much out. You follow me on that? All right, so what I'm saying is, this is a setting. Okay, let's get out of here. Sure do.
So it's different, you don't change the rate, you put the amount in a bolus? It's always been full.
You see where it says
If you raise
bolus?
100 ml bolus,
I'm
you
in
don't change the
settings,
rate.
this is a setting, so I could take this bolus and put, where the volume is, I can put 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
That was one
6,
of my questions.
enter it.
was like,
So
if
now,
Billy's like,
you
I
go
want
back
100
out,
ml
so when you
bolus,
push
do
this
I leave the
bolus
rate
button,
at
it'll only
20
push
and I go to
60
a
in.
separate area to put in?
Okay.
That's the, I mean,
So I can,
You-
unlimited bolus 60, like every time we want another bolus, I can hit
Yep.
that bolus button
Yep.
and it will do that?
yep. And but if you do a lot
Over
of,
what time? Is it preset for a certain time?
well, whatever your rate is, the rate is set at 1,000 right now. That's what we set it at
So
the
you'll
end.
have to change the
Right
rate.
now it says 4 minutes.
Now, this is just the settings. You can
But then it
bolus
has
it just
the
like
memory of the fluid rate from before? Is that what?
So-
Not on the bolus. The bolus, we're setting what we want to bolus.
Correct.
Okay.
So let's say we have our patient on a rate of 100 an hour, and then we think that he's got a problem, so we want a bolus of 500 ml bolus. So we go into the settings screen, set the bolus for 500.
Right.
We do ours in 15 minutes, so
Right.
the rate would be, can we set a rate
Whatever-
of
yeah,
2,000?
Yes, you can, let's see,
Because
2,000?
Heska and Huspire, Baxter, whatever, they all top out at 999.
Yeah, I think we're the same way.
Okay, so a 500 ml bolus would still take 30 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, it'll calculate your rate.
And then, so does that bolus rate, it's done, it's to infuse the 500, it beeps at you that the bolus is over, and you have to hit a button.
No, it'll stop if you
Will
set
the
it.
memory then have saved the original
Yes.
rate of 100 mils, and I can go back to the original?
That's the last one.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what I was wondering, but yeah, okay. Alright.
And you know that, you'll also see on this, it says log. There's a log on this thing, and you can actually go, and if you go to are y'all on settings still?
You have ours.
Okay.
Don't know, are we on settings?
Y'all were too much trouble. Let me show you. See, I'm on the settings. So I can go next. See where it says log? I can click on this, and you can upload a log. It keeps up to 1,800 last infusions. Now you
Good
can
God almighty.
actually, you can actually open this up, and you could you can
Oh,
download
dear
it like
heavens,
that.
there's all these.
Yeah, well, you know what,
Yeah,
it was
all kinds of
option, not, very few people use that, but when you say what you would say, I just want you to know you can do that.
Sure.
Okay.
Just remember, you can do it, when you wanna do it, call me. That's what you
Yes.
say, because you're not gonna do it very
Let us
often.
remember that. There's a lot of little places to hook up electronic things back there on the back.
So-
I know.
Alright, so we comfortable with the how we worked at pump?
Yeah.
Rate,
Yeah.
I think we're
Yeah,
good.
I feel pretty good. It's
But
gonna
don't,
take some
I mean,
time,
just,
but-
call me anytime you want. I mean, you'll see it's pretty simple to work. So,
I feel pretty good.
We're starting out with 4, the new hospital we're ordering 20. So the new hospital will have a ton, and the Hesco ones will move into isolation and other places to die. And then we are going to be getting some needleless things, like he was showing you guys. Probably not for like the average patient, but for chemo administrations or certain other things, we will have the needleless lines. And then their company also makes those vial ports and stuff. So we're going to be using that for like maybe Eutazol and like some of the chemo medicine and stuff.
you know what she's talking about, have y'all seen it?
The vial port.
Alright, it looks like, let's see, this is it right here, correct?
The wide port, no.
Those are great.
Yeah. This is a vial adapter.
Excuse us.
Sorry.
This is a vial adapter that's used for more of a thick substance. This was originally created on the human side for mixing things like chemotherapy because of such the thickness. But we found, like in things like ProHeart, euthanasia, some of your penicillin is real difficult. So all you do is you just, and the way you do it, you just open this up and push it right on, and it'll click right underneath the little hat right here. And so if I want to pull something out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower lock on, and I'm going to hold it upside down. You're not going to put any air in it, okay? Because this is going to equalize the pressure. So when I pull, you'll find out it's a lot easier to pull, and you're equalizing the pressure as you go on. Plus, because you're using a vial adapter, you're not going to lose any drug. Okay. Now, if you pull too much, what you want to do is push down. Okay? Because if you push up, sometimes it can get into this filter. All right? But it's very difficult for that. But just pull down and push down. Okay? So that's what we're talking about. All right? Any questions about that?
Is that intended for single dosing or multi-dosing?
It's a multi-dose cap.
But one
So
time
we
use
just
per bottle.
Yeah.
Like per
Right,
bottle.
once you
yeah.
pull it out, you throw it away.
Right.
But,
But
so we would alcohol the top, and we don't have 8,000 needle pokes of 18-gauge
Right.
needles in our dextroses,
Yeah.
or our palmates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were thinking like
Or
lidocaine,
hypertonics.
dextrose, calcium gluconate, and then all the chemos that are the big
What
multi-use
does
vials.
that pretty little,
They're like $3.50.
cost us?
325.
So we already do have that $12 dispensing fee, so it kind of is covered, but we probably increase our dispensing fee to like maybe $15.
I mean, when you're doing chemotherapy, because this was created on a human side, and the reason they have that filter is, chemotherapy is very toxic,
Yeah.
right? So what that filter does is it cleans the aerosols as it comes out, so
Yeah,
it's
no, it's
protecting you.
brilliant.
It
Yeah.
keeps it from spraying on your gloves and stuff.
No, it's brilliant. I like it, anti-venom.
And then there's another much simpler version of that can plug into like our flush thing,
Yeah.
where you just screw in your 3 ml syringe and rather than stabbing.
That's what,
There's like a much simpler version of
Yeah,
it.
it's called a bag spike,
It's
and
so
it
simple.
looks just like this. You stick it right in here, hang it, and that way you can just draw out. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have those, we're getting those.
I have actually 2 samples that he
Great,
gave.
I love those. And we can keep them for how long before we should theoretically?
Per bag, I mean, in theory. I don't know how much are those, like $1 something?
No, it's less than $2, like
Okay.
$1.90. It's inexpensive. I will tell you, in this industry, most people leave it on and move it from one bag to the other, but I mean, it's
Well,
designed.
theoretically, we could gas sterilize it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if we had two, we could have one on the floor and
Mhm.
one being
Maybe.
sterilized.
We're gonna have to have one too, because somebody's gonna lose that first one.
If we have theoretically two in operation and then we have two hidden by Rebecca so that we have backups.
And you guys got this too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we use
Okay.
it.
Has everybody
Dr.
seen
Drummond
this?
uses
Yeah.
those all the time.
We love
Y'all all
Yeah.
seen it, right?
I hear all the
Okay,
time.
perfect. Can't use it wrong, won't let you. So, all right,
Right, well, cool.
well, that's
Thank
all we
you.
got.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, but
Thank
feel,
you.